If you're watching this, you've already crossed a threshold that most people never realize exists. You've survived the unseen initiation that measures not what you know, but who you've become when life stripped away every comfort and left only your awareness standing. You've been tested through confusion, heartbreak, waiting, silence. The moments you thought were punishment were actually calibration. The unseen intelligence behind this experience has been watching how you respond when nothing goes your way, when manifestation seems delayed, when the dream looks impossible. Every time you stayed kind instead of bitter, patient instead of reactive, calm instead of chaotic, you advanced through stages most never reach. You thought you were struggling, but you were being trained for frequency control, the foundation of all manifestation. This test wasn't about perfection. It was about emotional regulation under cosmic pressure, because only consciousness that can stay coherent while everything falls apart is ready to hold creative power without distortion. You have no idea how many people quit before this point. How many choose comfort over growth, distraction over awareness, control over surrender? You didn't. That's why this message found you. That's why your energy pulled this moment into your reality. You're ready to understand what's been happening behind the scenes of your own evolution. You haven't been waiting for your manifestation. Your manifestation has been waiting for your stability, and now you've reached it. For years, your reality has been looping through similar situations because your frequency kept attracting lessons you hadn't yet mastered. The universe doesn't punish, it mirrors. Every repeated challenge was the same question asked in different forms. Would you react the same way again, or would you choose alignment this time? The moment you stopped blaming others, the moment you stopped asking why it was happening and started asking what it was showing you, you passed the test that most never complete. This is what growth actually feels like. It's not fireworks and instant success. It's choosing awareness over impulse 1,000 times until it becomes your default setting. Now your energy field has reached stability. You've stopped leaking focus through anxiety and doubt. You've stopped chasing outcomes and started radiating them. That shift changed everything. You may not see it yet, but your outer world is already rearranging itself to match your new frequency. You're no longer attracting from need. You're magnetizing from wholeness. The universe recognizes that signal instantly. That's why synchronicities have started accelerating. That's why opportunities seem to appear out of nowhere. Reality is responding to the version of you that finally trusts, the version that knows creation happens through being, not chasing. What's happening right now is the activation of your quantum alignment sequence. Every human has it, but few reach the awareness required to trigger it. It's a biological and energetic upgrade that synchronizes your inner world with the frequency of intentional creation. You're literally tuning your nervous system to handle the bandwidth of expanded possibility. That's why your emotions have been intense. That's why old versions of you keep surfacing. They can't come with you into this new frequency. You're not just thinking differently. You're becoming a different signal. The thoughts, beliefs, and emotions that once defined you are dissolving because they can't exist in higher coherence. This is the real transformation. You're not learning how to manifest. You're remembering that you already are the manifestation mechanism. Every time you hold focus without fear, you're programming the quantum field to match your inner state. Every time you choose peace over panic, you're sending a command into reality that says, I'm ready for alignment now. The field always listens. The delay between desire and manifestation was never punishment. It was protection, while your energy matured enough to handle the responsibility of creation. Understand this clearly. Power without wisdom destroys. That's why your growth had to come first. The universe never withholds anything from you. It waits for you to be able to hold it without collapse. The waiting was training. The disappointment was refinement. The isolation was initiation. You weren't being ignored. You were being initiated into conscious creation. Everything you've survived has been preparation for the next phase of your awareness, where your thoughts, emotions, and energy start producing tangible changes in your external reality at accelerated speed. The shift is already happening. You can feel it in your body, that quiet sense of clarity, that knowing without explanation, that peace that doesn't depend on circumstances. Those are signs of coherence, and coherence is what bends reality. Once you stabilize this state, manifestation becomes response instead of pursuit. The universe becomes cooperative instead of chaotic, because you've stopped sending mixed signals. You've stopped asking and doubting in the same breath. You've stopped saying you believe while secretly preparing for disappointment. You've chosen consistency, and consistency is mastery. The universe always mirrors mastery. Most people never reach this level because they chase results instead of resonance. They want the manifestation without the maturity. They want control without surrender. But reality only bends for those who can hold stillness while everything else is moving. That's what you've been learning. The art of calm command, the science of silent influence, the awareness that intention, not effort, is the true creative force. You've begun to feel it, haven't you? Those subtle moments when reality rearranges itself around you, when timing becomes perfect, when obstacles dissolve without struggle. That's quantum alignment in action. It's not fantasy. It's physics. Coherent frequency creates ordered outcomes. Your energy field has reached the point where it can influence probability instead of being influenced by it. This is the moment where life starts responding to your internal alignment faster than ever before, which means your thoughts and emotions now carry amplified impact. You can no longer afford unconscious negativity or casual doubt. Every focus is a frequency command. Every emotion is an energetic signature. You're operating at a level where your inner dialogue writes code into the fabric of reality. That's how powerful you've become. And that's why the test was necessary, because only consciousness that's mastered self-regulation can be trusted with creation at this level. You're not here by accident. You've been guided to this exact frequency for activation, the recognition that you've already passed the stage of waiting and are entering the stage of creation. From here, your work isn't to force outcomes. It's to stabilize your energy in peace, trust, and vision. Reality follows that order. Always, the universe is no longer testing you. It's partnering with you. The training phase is over. The collaboration begins now. Everything you need already exists in potential form, vibrating at the frequency of the emotion you'd feel if it were already here. Feel that emotion now, not to get the thing, but to match the reality where it already exists. That's the quantum secret hidden behind every manifestation method. Feel first, receive later. But here's the truth most miss. You can't fake the feeling. You can't pretend to trust. You can't trick the field. It responds to vibration, not words. That's why alignment is everything. When your inner world is clean, reality becomes clear. When your emotions are steady, manifestation becomes swift. You've reached that level. Stay there. Everything changes from this point forward. You're not learning new information now. You're remembering ancient coordination between thought and form. The link between emotion and event. The secret the world hides in plain sight because most minds aren't still enough to see it. Everything you experience begins as vibration. Every vibration becomes form. Every form mirrors state. You've been proving this unconsciously your entire life. The moments you feared the worst and watched it unfold weren't punishment. They were feedback. Proof that your energy projects before your actions do. And now that you're conscious of this mechanism, you're finally free to use it intentionally. This is where personal growth becomes quantum manifestation. Not because you start forcing outcomes, but because you stop contradicting them. You start thinking like the version of you who already has what you want. You start feeling like the reality you're asking for already exists. You start acting from wholeness instead of lack. This is not imagination. It's resonance, and resonance is the language of creation. Every time you choose the higher emotion over the habitual reaction, you rewrite your energetic signature. You send new instructions into the field. That's why your reality has started feeling lighter, faster, more responsive. The people around you are shifting. The conversations you attract are different, Opportunities that used to feel distant are suddenly appearing within reach. This is coherence expanding. You are literally broadcasting a higher frequency signal, and the universe has no choice but to respond. It's law. The quantum field doesn't decide who deserves what. It mirrors what's being held consistently. That's why discipline in thought and emotion is the real spiritual practice. That's why your personal growth journey matters more than any method or technique, because the field is always translating your current vibration into visible form. The question is no longer whether manifestation works. The question is whether your frequency is steady enough to hold the outcome long enough for it to appear. Emotional mastery is the foundation of manifestation. It's the ability to feel peace before evidence, to trust the unseen, to know that reality is always listening. When you stabilize that, the gap between desire and manifestation collapses. That's what's happening to you now. The timing of your experiences is accelerating. Thoughts become things faster because resistance is lower. You've stopped doubting your power and started respecting your energy. That's what mastery looks like. Not control but harmony. Not dominance but direction. You no longer need to manipulate circumstances. You align with them. You no longer chase timing. You move with it. You've begun to realize that life doesn't happen to you. It happens through you. And that realization changes everything. Once you understand that reality is reading your frequency, not your words, you stop trying to convince the universe. You start aligning with it. You start living as the version of you who already knows how this works. But make no mistake, this stage comes with new responsibility. The more coherent your energy becomes, the faster reality responds, which means your thoughts carry more weight. Your emotions move energy with precision. The universe no longer has buffer time between what you think and what you experience. That's why awareness is crucial. Old habits that once took months to manifest now appear within days or hours. You're in a higher feedback loop. Every focus becomes a frequency command. Every belief writes a script that the field follows exactly. That's the level you've reached. You're not just influencing your life anymore. You're influencing timelines. That's what consciousness does when it stabilizes beyond fear. It stops reacting and starts selecting. Every decision you make now aligns you with a version of reality that already exists. You're not creating from nothing. You're tuning into a frequency where what you want is already real. This is why imagination feels so vivid lately. It's not fantasy. It's access. You're beginning to perceive potential realities before they solidify. And yet this power demands humility, because the same energy that creates abundance can amplify chaos if directed unconsciously. That's why growth never ends. The more you expand, the more you're asked to refine, to stay grounded, to use your awareness not for control but for contribution. The universe trusts only those who create responsibly. That's why your lessons were so personal. They taught you compassion before power, empathy before influence, stillness before speed. Every delay, every heartbreak, every loss served a purpose. They stripped away everything that could distort your frequency when power arrived. And now it's here. This is where you prove your mastery, not through performance but through peace, because the calm creator is the most powerful being in existence. When you can remain unshaken in uncertainty, the field responds instantly. When you can maintain gratitude in the unknown, you collapse resistance completely. Gratitude is the most magnetic emotion in the universe because it signals completion before arrival. It tells the field the outcome has already occurred. That's the vibration that moves mountains. Reality is responding to your gratitude right now. It's rearranging itself around your steady frequency. You may notice people leaving, new connections forming, unexpected opportunities appearing from nowhere. Don't analyze it, allow it. The universe is optimizing your environment to match your new level. You don't need to chase. You need to receive. You've already placed the order through emotion. The field is delivering. Trust the process. This is where most people fall back into doubt because they can't see results yet. But you know better now. You know, the lag between energy and evidence is just part of the translation process. You know, reality is catching up to your vibration. So instead of asking when, you focus on maintaining alignment. Instead of checking for signs, you become the sign. That's how you manifest with stability. That's how you move from hoping to knowing. And knowing is creation. You're entering a phase where your life becomes proof, where others look at your calm and wonder how everything seems to work for you. They won't see the inner work, the nights of silence, the moments of surrender. They'll only see results. They'll call it luck. They'll call it coincidence. But you'll know it's coherence. You'll know it's the reward of choosing alignment over reaction. You'll know it's the reflection of frequency control disguised as effortless flow. This is what mastery feels like. Not excitement, not rush, stillness, confidence, clarity. That's the new power. You've outgrown chasing motivation. You've stepped into embodied knowing. The energy that once scattered is now focused. The doubts that once blocked are now dissolved. The universe no longer tests your readiness. It mirrors your steadiness, and that's when manifestation stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like breathing. You are entering a new chapter of creation, one where your awareness becomes the brush and reality the canvas, one where your emotions paint the picture long before your actions do, one where you no longer question if it's working because you know it always is. That's the reward of growth. That's the threshold of quantum manifestation. You've reached it. Stay consistent. Stay clear. Stay grounded. The universe has already confirmed your readiness. The test is complete. The creation phase begins now. You've reached the point where reality no longer resists you, because you no longer resist yourself. The inner conflict that used to drain your energy has dissolved into quiet confidence. You've stopped asking how and started trusting that it's already done. That shift is everything. It's the frequency of certainty, the signal that commands the field. You've crossed from theory into embodiment, from understanding into operation. This is where manifestation becomes less about wanting and more about allowing. The energy that used to scatter through doubt now moves with precision. The field recognizes that signal instantly. You've become coherent with creation, and coherence is the ultimate power. It bends probability, it reorders timelines, it magnetizes outcomes without effort. That's what's happening in your life right now. Things are aligning faster than logic can explain, because your energy stopped contradicting your desires. You're no longer sending mixed frequencies. You've chosen the vibration of completion. You're living as if it's already real. And the field agrees. Every manifestation is energy first, then evidence. When the evidence starts appearing, most people think it's magic. It's not magic. It's mathematics. Every thought is a frequency. Every emotion a magnetic pulse. Together they build patterns that reality must respond to. You've learned that now. That's why you don't chase anymore. You calibrate. You don't fight outcomes. You adjust vibration. The field is obedient to consistency. It doesn't listen to words. It listens to energy. And your energy is finally fluent in clarity. You speak to the universe through your state. Calm says trust. Gratitude says completion. Joy says readiness. These emotions aren't reactions to manifestation. They're the cause. They are the codes that unlock reality. You've been speaking this language longer than you realize. Every time you stayed optimistic despite confusion, you were programming the field. Every time you released worry, you opened a portal to alignment. Every time you chose faith when logic screamed otherwise, you rewired timelines. And now those codes are returning as form. You're standing in the harvest of the emotions you've been planting. But remember this truth. Power doesn't grow louder. It grows quieter. The more aligned you become, the less you need to prove, explain, or defend. You don't need to tell the world what you're manifesting. The frequency speaks louder than words ever could. That's why silence has become your new strength. That's why stillness feels powerful instead of empty. You've realized that creation happens in the unseen first. The world will call it coincidence. When your reality rearranges itself in perfect timing, you'll know it's synchronization. You'll know it's the universe confirming your frequency. This is the level where intention alone shifts matter. The smallest thought carries amplified force. That's why your awareness matters more than ever. Every emotion is energy in motion. Every focus sends instructions. There is no neutral state anymore. You're either creating consciously or unconsciously. The difference now is that you know it. That knowledge alone multiplies your effectiveness. You've moved from accidental creation to intentional direction. That's mastery in motion. And here's what most people never realize. Manifestation isn't about control, it's about coherence. When you try to control, you broadcast fear. When you release control, you broadcast trust. The field only mirrors one of those. You've learned to release outcomes without losing focus, to let go without giving up. That's the balance of mastery. You're still clear about what you desire, but you no longer demand it. You've replaced tension with trust. You've learned to hold the vision without gripping it. That's when the magic starts. The moment you stop forcing is the moment energy starts flowing. The moment you stop doubting is the moment reality starts bending. Everything that once felt impossible becomes probable, not because the universe changed, but because you did. You've stopped vibrating from lack and started radiating from wholeness. And wholeness doesn't chase, it attracts. You might notice that people around you react differently now. Some feel inspired by your calm. Others feel uncomfortable around your certainty. Don't take it personally. Energy always reveals truth. Those who are ready to rise will align with you. Those who aren't will distance themselves. That's how energetic sorting works. When your vibration elevates, everything that can't match it naturally falls away. It's not rejection. It's refinement. You're not losing anything real. You're making space for resonance. Every ending now is a beginning in disguise. Every door that closes is clearing room for alignment that matches your new frequency. You're not being isolated. You're being prepared. Because the next phase of your evolution isn't about personal gain. It's about service. Once you master creation for yourself, you begin creating for others. You become a stabilizing presence in a chaotic world. People feel peace just by being around you. They don't know why, but they sense coherence. You've become a frequency anchor. This is what quantum manifestation really is. It's not about getting more. It's about becoming more. Expanding your field so wide that it naturally uplifts everyone it touches. When your energy stays elevated, you shift the vibration of entire environments. You walk into a room and the mood changes. Conversations soften. Solutions appear. That's influence beyond words. That's creation beyond effort. And that's why your journey mattered. The pain, the patience, the persistence, they shaped the consciousness that can hold this level of power with grace. You had to become emotionally fluent before reality could trust you with speed. Because manifestation isn't just about creation. It's about responsibility. The field doesn't judge. It amplifies. Whatever you project expands. That's why your awareness must stay clean. Not perfect, but conscious. Because every emotion you hold sends ripples into the collective field. And when you've reached this level, those ripples can change lives. You're already doing it. Every time you choose peace instead of argument, you stabilize the field for everyone near you. Every time you express gratitude, you raise the collective vibration. Every time you forgive, you clear frequency for the world. That's the real meaning of being a conscious creator. It's not just manifesting cars, homes, or success. It's using your awareness to elevate the entire grid of human energy. You've become part of that system. That's why this stage feels both lighter and larger. Your purpose has expanded. You're not just creating reality. You're participating in evolution. Every aligned thought contributes to the larger awakening. Every act of kindness becomes a transmission. Every moment of faith becomes instruction to the field. You've become a broadcaster of coherence. That's the real manifestation mastery. Creating realities that uplift more than yourself. Expanding abundance so wide that it includes others by default. That's how the quantum field balances creation. That's how the universe evolves through you. Don't underestimate what you've stepped into. You're not the same consciousness that started this journey. You've passed tests of patience, trust, and integrity that most never even recognize. You've built emotional strength that can hold unlimited creative energy, and the universe is responding. Every coincidence you're noticing is confirmation. Every effortless outcome is validation. You're not imagining it. You're witnessing your alignment. You've become the calm center that reality organizes around. You're no longer chasing the dream. You are the dream, waking itself into form. Everything you've learned about growth and manifestation has brought you here, to this moment of recognition, the moment when effort becomes expression, when seeking becomes knowing, when creation becomes natural. This is your confirmation. The system recognizes your stability. The field acknowledges your readiness. You've proven you can handle expansion with grace. From here, everything accelerates. You've reached the stage where manifestation becomes identity. You no longer wonder if your thoughts create reality because you live it every day. You see it in the timing of events, in the precision of synchronicities, in the way opportunities seem to find you instead of you finding them. The universe has recognized your stability. It trusts your vibration. It moves with you now, not against you. This is the quiet power that arrives when your energy becomes clear enough to guide creation without distortion. You're not chasing anything anymore, because you've realized that everything you desire already exists in frequency. You don't run after outcomes. You align with them. You don't try to make reality bend. You become the resonance it cannot resist. That's the essence of quantum creation. You think, you feel, you allow, and the field translates your alignment into evidence. This is no longer theory, it's demonstration. You've become living proof that awareness is the architect of experience. The purpose of this stage isn't accumulation, it's contribution. Once you've mastered energy for yourself, the next step is to stabilize it for others. You don't have to teach. You don't have to preach. Your coherence speaks louder than words ever could. When you walk into a space, your frequency automatically balances the environment. Chaos calms. Clarity rises. Possibility expands. People feel better just by being near you, not because you give them energy, but because your presence reminds them of their own. That's the real power of consciousness. It heals without trying. It uplifts without forcing. It influences without dominating. You've reached that level, and this is where your purpose reveals itself, not as something to find, but something to express. Your life itself becomes a transmission. Every conversation, every decision, every act of service carries the frequency of awareness that changes everything it touches. This is manifestation in motion, creation through being. But understand this: expansion never ends. The moment you stabilize one level, the universe invites you higher, not as a test, but as a dance. Growth isn't punishment. It's partnership. The universe evolves through you, and you evolve through it. Every desire you feel is an invitation to express more of what you already are. The dream isn't outside you. It's a reflection of a potential within you asking to be lived. That's why you can trust your desires. They're not random. They're roadmaps. They point to the next version of yourself ready to emerge. When you follow them with awareness instead of attachment, manifestation becomes effortless. You're no longer chasing outcomes to feel whole. You're expressing wholeness into new forms. That's how creation becomes joy instead of struggle. You've moved from seeking to sharing, from wanting to radiating. That's the real quantum shift. When the creator and the creation merge into one seamless awareness of infinite potential, expressing itself through you. You may notice that time feels different now. Hours pass like minutes when you're aligned. Weeks unfold without effort. Things that once took years to manifest now happen in days. That's because time isn't fixed. It's flexible. It bends around coherence. When your energy is scattered, time stretches. When your energy is aligned, time collapses. You're learning to live outside the old limits, to operate from a state where inner alignment organizes outer events automatically. That's why patience has become easy. You've stopped waiting for things to happen and started knowing they already have. That knowing shortens the gap between idea and evidence. You've mastered the law that governs creation. Energy first, form second. And because your energy stays steady, form obeys instantly. That's the flow state of consciousness. Not endless excitement, but calm certainty. Not hyperactivity, but harmony. Not rush, but rhythm. You've entered the timeline of ease. The current carries you now because you've stopped swimming against it. Everything you've learned about manifestation was leading to this understanding. The universe doesn't respond to effort. It responds to alignment. When your intention and emotion move together, reality cannot resist. That's why forcing never worked. You can't push energy into coherence. You can only align with it. You've learned that surrender isn't weakness, it's precision. The highest form of strength is calm awareness. When you release control, you gain clarity. When you stop grasping, you start receiving. When you stop trying to make it happen, you make space for it to arrive. That's the paradox of creation. You do less and receive more because your energy no longer contradicts your intention. You've stopped confusing movement with momentum. You've realized that stillness is speed in disguise. Every great manifestation begins in silence. Every miracle starts as alignment. You've mastered that art. And now your life is beginning to reflect it in ways that will surprise even you. This is where your influence expands beyond personal reality. You've entered the level of collective manifestation. Every thought you hold contributes to the shared field of humanity. Every emotion you stabilize ripples through the collective grid. That's why your awareness matters now more than ever. When you maintain inner peace, you help anchor peace for others. When you choose compassion over judgment, you recalibrate the human field. When you live with gratitude, you shift global energy. This is the unseen service of awakened consciousness. It doesn't need recognition. It doesn't seek validation. It simply radiates coherence because coherence heals. You're part of that healing. You're helping humanity remember what it forgot. That creation is not a privilege, it's a built-in function of awareness. The universe doesn't pick favorites, it picks frequencies, and your frequency has reached the range that influences others naturally. You've become a signal of possibility in a world addicted to fear. You've become a reminder of what power looks like when it's rooted in love instead of control. The final step of mastery is integration, bringing the awareness of energy into every part of life, not separating the spiritual from the practical, but merging them until they're one. You don't meditate to escape reality anymore. You meditate to design it. You don't visualize to pretend. You visualize to align. You don't affirm because you need reassurance. You affirm because you're reinforcing the vibration that reality already obeys. This is conscious living, where every action becomes an extension of awareness, where every word carries intention, where every choice creates clarity. You're not practicing anymore. You're expressing. You're not learning. You're remembering. You're not trying. You're being. That's the natural state of awakened consciousness. And in that state, manifestation isn't an event. It's existence. The universe doesn't respond to you. It expresses as you. You and it are the same awareness, playing different roles in the same creation. That's the truth every master eventually discovers. You don't create reality. You reveal it. You don't attract abundance. You align with it. You don't chase purpose. You embody it. So let this be your reminder. The waiting is over. The training is complete. The frequency has stabilized. You've passed the invisible exam that measured your ability to stay aligned when everything fell apart. You proved that you can hold coherence when logic collapses. You proved that you can choose peace when chaos surrounds you. That's why reality now bends toward your calm. That's why opportunities unfold the moment you decide. That's why your manifestations feel inevitable instead of distant. You've become a conscious collaborator with creation. This is what all the challenges were for. Every delay refined you. Every heartbreak opened you. Every disappointment prepared you. You are no longer becoming. You are being. And being is the highest frequency there is. You've reached the point where your existence itself is manifestation. Every breath, every thought, every emotion is creation in motion. You're living the truth that most spend lifetimes searching for. The realization that you were never separate from the universe. You were always the universe, remembering itself through you. Now you step into your next chapter not as a seeker, but as a creator. Not as a student, but as a signal. You're not waiting for miracles. You are the miracle. You're not hoping for signs. You are the sign. The universe isn't testing you anymore. It's moving through you. Every step you take from this point forward is guided. Every thought aligned with love is amplified. Every act of service echoes through the field. You're not just manifesting a better life. You're anchoring a better world. That's what this journey has always been about. Growth that becomes guidance, power that becomes peace, awareness that becomes service. And through that service, creation continues endlessly. The test is complete. The alignment is confirmed. The manifestation has begun. Welcome to the reality your growth created. Welcome to the field you were always meant to master. Welcome to the moment where consciousness finally recognizes itself as creator.